Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's story is the true story of the Three Little Pigs by A. Wolf. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs, or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story, because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I'm the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet? Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were a big bad wolf too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. So here is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a Time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneeze and cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now, this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his entire house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in his right mind would build a house out of straw? So, of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't just want to just walk into someone else's house. So I called, little pig, are you in? There was no answer. I was just about to go home without the cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. But that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed and I snuffed. And I sneezed a great big sneeze. Achoo. And you know what? The whole darn straw house fell down. And right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home this whole time. It seems like a shame to leave it there. It was a perfectly good ham dinner lying there in the straw. So I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just lying there. I was feeling a little better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. This neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much, if you know what I mean. He had built his house out of sticks. I rang the bell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, "Go away, Wolf, you can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed and I snuffed and I tried to cover my mouth, but a sneeze, a great big sneeze, came out. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was the second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it there in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner again. Yum. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better too. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar though for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and the second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains in the family. He had built his house out of bricks. Wow. I knocked on the door. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, Wolf. Get out of here. Don't bother me again. Talk about impolite and rude. He probably had a whole sack full of sugar in there. And he wouldn't give me even one little cup for my dear old granny's birthday cake. What a pig. I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead, when I felt my cold coming on again. I huffed and I snuffed and I sneezed once again. Then the third little pig yelled, and your old granny can sit on a pin. Now, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. When the cops drove up, though, of course, I was trying to break down the pig's door. And the whole time I was huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a whole big scene. Look at me. And the rest, as they say, is history. The news reporter found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting. So they jazzed up the story with all that huffing and puffing and blowing your house down. And they made me the big bad wolf. That's it. Now that was the real story. I was afraid. But maybe you can loan me a cup of sugar?